What do sheep count when they're trying to sleep? Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we are returning once again to the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Although not necessarily the Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, because we are talking about a Rush Duels product today. Today's video comes from Yu-Gi Organization, and it is about an upcoming product to Rush Duels, a new structure deck. Structure deck Triumphant Return of the Monarchs, I believe is its name. And while I'm not necessarily more excited for this product than any other given Rush Duel product, I mean, if you guys know me at all, then you'll know that I'm pretty positive and pretty enthusiastic about all of Rush Duels. I firmly believe that it's the best thing Konami has done, and if they were in a craving money mood, then they would, give us what we want and bring Rush Duels over to the West and give us some English release Rush Duels. I'm still, hoping that that happens. I'm not holding my breath, but I am hoping that it happens at some point. Anyway, back on topic. This new structure deck is a Monarch themed structure deck, and it's pretty special to me, and I'm pretty excited about it because of one card in particular, Caius the Shadow Monarch, coming to Rush Duels. And this is a really exciting card for me because it's a card with a lot of nostalgia behind it, a card with a lot of, in regular Yu-Gi-Oh!, a lot of history, power, and playability. And for those of you who weren't necessarily around back in the day when Caius was a playable card, once upon a time, he was one of the most playable cards in the game. Any deck that could play Caius would want to play Caius just because of how versatile and useful his effect was. And it's a very simple effect. You see, Caius is a level 5, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Level 5 monster that, in Yu-Gi-Oh! You got to tribute summon monsters above level 4. One tribute for level 5 monsters. So you sacrifice a monster to play Caius. And when he is tribute summoned, he can just banish any creature on the board. That's great. For the time when he came out, that was a very, very good effect. It had a secondary effect, too. If the creature banished was a dark type, Caius would deal 1,000 points of damage to the opponent. That part was never really necessarily part of what made Caius great. It was just an added bonus because the ability to just play a monster and automatically remove one of your opponent's monsters, not even through destruction, but by banishing it from the game entirely, that made Caius so universally good. And as I said before, a lot of decks that just could slot in one copy of Caius the Shadow Monarch, very loud bike, would want to slide in a copy of Caius the Shadow Monarch just because that's a really good effect to have in a game that, especially at the time, was kind of slow when it came to getting out bigger and more hard to deal with monsters. Caius was so playable that in a time where synchros were running rampant, Caius was still not a bad tech option for a lot of good decks. Now, with all of that said, the Rush Duels version of Caius is not a one-to-one translation of the TCG-OCG version of the card, and that is a bit of a shame. Instead of banishing a card outright when he is summoned, he instead puts the creature on the bottom of the owner's deck. I understand why they would make a change like that. Part of what made Caius such a universally played card was the fact that he just banished something, and I suppose sending it to the bottom of the deck is less punishing for having such a simple to summon card. But still, I'm excited to see him, especially because he's getting an Overrush rarity treatment. And for those of you who don't know, Overrush rarity in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels, it's a special rarity only seen in Rush Duels instead of in normal Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's a nice Shatterfoil treatment for the card, but the cool thing about the rarity is the fact that the art bleeds out past the borders of the art frame itself into the rest of the card, giving it this really cool, dynamic look that makes a lot of the Rush Duel Overrush rares much more collectible in my opinion, because yeah, they're a bit rarer than the normal counterparts, but also they just look nicer on average. Not all of the time. I've seen some Overrush rares that don't look that great, but for the most part, they look pretty freaking swell, and I'm a huge fan of them. Now, I can't really comment on, whether this is a good product or not. It's a deck that's only releasing for a side game that's only in Japan. But I will say that this Overrush Rare Caius the Shadow Monarch is one that I do intend to collect just because, A, it's an Overrush Rare. And as I said, I like Overrush Rares a lot, and I think this one in particular looks really, really, really nice. B, the Caius is like my second favorite Monarch card. Monarchs was a cycle of creatures from back in the day. There was Caius, there was Thestalos, etc., etc. My personal actual favorite was Grandmark the Rock Monarch, and I know he's like the worst one of the original cycle. I know, but he came in the structure deck that I was a huge fan of, and I have fond memories of Book of Mooning my opponent's cards and then playing Grandmark to get rid of them. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I don't think I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Right back then. In fact, I'm almost certain that I did not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right back when. When I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When that structure deck came out, I did not fully understand the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I have like a lot of games back then where I was just kind of playing cards and kind of just interpreting the rules willy-nilly. If a card said it did one thing, I kind of loosely interpreted that, and everyone else just kind of went with it. Schoolground Yu-Gi-Oh! was a fun game, but that's really all I got. This was a quick video as I gush over a new Rush Duel card, a new Rush Duel product, and reassert that, yeah, I just like the game a lot. I do hope we get an English release at some point. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment below. Do you like Rush Duels? I hope you do. I hope the answer is yes. You should like Rush Duels. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.